Norfolk Planning Board meeting, which it's a special meeting for the master plan steering committee. Tonight is May 8th. It's 7 p.m. This is a stream only meeting. We are not meeting in person. It's just only on live. It's only online via Zoom, or you could live stream it on YouTube. It is being recorded for future reviewing on our YouTube channel. And if we do have technical difficulties, we'll work through them. But we're going to continue recording as we go. We do have I'll kind of go through introductions of our planning board, and then I'll pass it over to Josh from MAPC. If we do have to make any votes this evening, I don't think we do, but if we do have to make any votes, we will have to do those by roll call vote with the video camera on, since it is remote. So just kind of go through and introduce the team that we do have here. So myself, chairman of the planning board, we do have Chris Montfort there, vice chair of the planning board, Melissa Mayo, board member, and we have Christian Gustin, who is our associate member. And we are currently missing two board members who will be joining us hopefully shortly. That would be Eric Diamond and Gary Sullivan. We have our town planner, Richard McCarthy. And I see we do have part of our steering committee, we do have Joe Burke. And I think that's it for the rest of the steering committee. I'm sure a few others will be joining us as we continue. I will pass this over then to Josh and let him take it from there and introduce his team.
Thank you, Chad. Good evening, everyone. Very good to be with you all again. Josh Fiala, a principal planner at MAPC, and co-managing this process with my colleague, Andrea, and I'll let Andrea introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Andrea here, MAPC.
All right, so are we ready to set in? And I will share my screen. All right. So we have, I think, a shorter agenda this evening, but nonetheless important to touch base with each other and talk through what we've got. So this is amazingly our 12th meeting together. So it has been a good effort by our volunteer steering committee guiding this master plan effort. So thank you all for your continued attention and work on this important effort to provide a forward-thinking vision for the town of Norfolk with the master plan looking out to 2035. So our agenda this evening is to talk through we'll talk about what we've received for comments and see if there's potentially any additional comments that are coming along that we should know about. But thank you for anyone that's taken a look at it. We also wanted to talk about just kind of what's on the I guess, short calendar that remains for our master plan process. And that includes town meeting next week, and just talk through what we'd like to communicate at town meeting, and then follow up, Chad, with you with an email just with some of those bullet points. And then also talk about the final event really from the community's perspective of the farmers market, and just making sure we've got the logistics squared away on all of that on June 5th. And then we'll also confirm a date for the June, what is likely to be the final master plan steering committee meeting in June, though that would end us on an unlucky number 13. So we'll have to see how that, how we all feel about that. All right, so let's just talk briefly about the draft plan. If you recall, we had this schedule of review and sort of getting you all plan chapters. We have all the plan chapters now drafted. We sent a round at mid-March, and then another round a little bit after that, and then the final round in the beginning of April. We requested comments towards the end of April and would like to make a last call for comments this evening, but also if you have comments in process that you think you can get to us in the next near term, we'd be happy to accept any and all. We don't want to cut any efforts short. But I will communicate, we have not received that many comments from the group. We received comments from Melissa, and that is it. So if you can let us know if there are any others kind of waiting in the wings coming along, but otherwise it's fine. I think that we have a solid plan. We've been continuing to do our own review internally and have some improvements to make on the draft chapters that we have found ourselves, just in terms of some minor things to fix up and strengthen in terms of some additional images in the plan chapters. But on that review, I think both Andrea and I are feeling pretty good that the content is good. So just, yeah, we'll open the floor up. Chad's got his hand raised, and then we'll see if anyone else has thoughts about review and comments before we shift to a more public review. Review is not over. So Chad.
Yeah, I just wanted to fully disclose I've been a little bit distracted the past few weeks with my campaign, and I haven't done my homework. So I'm just full disclosure. I do plan to review that and provide some comments. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but those distractions have now moved past. Town election's over, so I can focus, get back to work on other things.
To be fair, Chad, I reviewed it today and sent comments today, so I'm not that much further ahead of you.
Well, I guess in response to that,
I confess.
yes.
Should I confess too? Or
Sure.
okay. Been a little bit tied up with MBTA zoning. And so hopefully we'll see what happens next Wednesday, and I'll refocus my effort.
Josh, I just want you to know we are all committed to providing to this whole plan. We've just been trying to balance our time with some other things.
Yeah, I'll jump on the bandwagon here as well.
Well, we definitely are not meaning to put anyone on the spot. So thank you all for your earnestness. And I guess congratulations are in order, since the elections have passed and you are all sitting here still with us. So that's good,
Yes.
good news from our perspective. I guess what I would suggest is, and I maybe suggest this as in the form of a question to have you all weigh in on it, but I would suggest that we continue on in turning this more toward a public review and allow you all the same amount of, you all get space within that public review as well. But that alternatively, we could delay the public review to give you more time internally to review. But my suggestion, after our internal review of the document, I do feel like it's solid enough and strong enough to shift to the public review.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Yep. Unless anybody thinks differently, but I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a good way.
And so as you can see on the screen, it affords you all additional time as well, of course, as being members of the public, or as able to comment in that period as you were in the initial review. And that comment period would run until the 20th of June. So that extends the timeline still. So it's not that it's pencils up just yet, but this first initial review was really had a few purposes. One of them was to make sure the fire was underneath us on our team to get all these things drafted and concluded, which that succeeded. And then the other was just to have a brief look to make sure that there wasn't anything way off or out of bounds in terms of this draft. And from our own internal review, I don't think that is the case. So we can feel pretty confident that I'm sure the community members in their review, those members who do take the time to take a look, will find things to say that are very relevant and meaningful to improving the document. But I don't think there's any really horribly misstated facts or anything like that.
What thought is me. So tell me, is the 15th. Maybe Chad, maybe we should have a slide for your update, which would show the link, in terms of just to kind of as a visual for town meeting for people to.
I could do that. One or a few, maybe one slide or a few slides. I don't want to make it overwhelming, but yeah.
No, I was just thinking personally, just one slide,
Yeah.
just a visual.
Yeah. And it could be right here. what Josh has got on the screen.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to point out too that we have put together, we haven't sent it via email yet to the group, but we have a PDF which is already drafted and available, which you see on the screen. It's a front and back PDF, which is basically what we want to communicate at town meeting, which is that the Norfolk Draft Master Plan is available and ready for review, and people are welcome and invited to take a look at it through the website or download a document. And it outlines that people have, we invite them to do that between now and June 20th. And there's that QR code goes directly to a Qualtrics survey, which is set up just as it's organized by the topics as an easy way for people to give us feedback on the draft document. And then
That would probably be a great handout to have at town meeting.
Yeah, I think we thought
yeah.
you could maybe print like half sheets of this. It's formatted so that if you wanted to print it and it would be like a half sheet handout
Yeah.
that you could just kind of give out it as people are arriving.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be very good. Wondering, just looking at it, the flyer. Are we going to have, because so the open house is actually, it's in the meeting room at the library, not, which is, on this, where the farmer's market. I don't know if that's maybe too granular detail, but.
That's something that we wanted to discuss this evening, and that our thinking has modified a little bit, but just to see that
Okay.
we're not sure. It might be better for us just to be in the farmer's market and not make people walk the extra bit to the library. But if it was possible, this is a logistical detail that we're not sure is possible. But if it were possible for us to have a table or a spot amongst the farmer's market, it might actually be more effective than us being away from the farmer's market. But that's also formed in a question to see how you all think about it.
I think that's a very valid question, because that extra walk, you're just not going to get the foot traffic inside. But having a tent with a table or something outside would be right there where people are at the farmer's market. I think we were talking, there might or might not be food trucks there as well. And yeah, it's just part of that event and not a separate thing inside the building.
I think if we have a banner that says food for thought, future of Norfolk, I think that's going to pull a lot of people in.
Yep.
I'll
Now,
go back. Sorry.
I don't know how to go about requesting a spot there, but I'm sure we can figure that out.
So I'll reach out so I have been in terms of, so just to update in terms of the farmer's market, they will have a pizza truck at the market on the 5th. And there's a possibility one of the caterers would have a beer truck there too. There is a beer truck that's going to farmers markets, but they weren't sure if the beer truck would be there for the 5th market or other ones. But I definitely confirmed there will be pizza. So
right, because Rich, I believe we do have that room reserved right now in the library, which we wouldn't need then if we had. Well,
right, yeah,
we probably wouldn't need it. I mean, unless we wanted to keep it as a backup in case it was like a washout, like a rain washout, and then we could still have something inside, even if the farmer's market was completely rained out.
That's even better planning, a backup plan to the plan. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. I think that's a good idea. That way we hold the date no matter what, and even if it's a horrible evening, we just set up in the library and make it work.
So one other thought too is the new restaurant that's going over where Scylla's was. I did hear that they would be opening in May. I don't know the exact date. So do you think we'd want to go into the community room at the library, or maybe see if they're going to be open and we could go there and try to get some people over there to give them some business as well? If we're not sure about the beer truck, especially because they have a you know, you could grab it. People who come in there and grab a drink, they have their liquor license and the pizza.
My concern with that would be, what if they're not open? You know, what if they get delayed for some issue? I don't know what that.
Yeah.
What if they
Because
were delayed? And also, what if they are open
Proximity.
and they're slammed? You know, that could very well happen. They're open and they're just very busy because they're new and they're you know, and everybody's testing them out.
mm,
Well, well, the other, so it kind of talks about the proximity too between the market and doing this. So like the right, you know, you're not going over to there and
yep, that makes sense.
I think we saved that for a future idea, Melissa. I'm concerned that something could get derailed and then we'd have to pivot at the last minute.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're going to be so new too, you know,
Yeah.
getting everything set up, and I don't want
Right.
to put that much stress on them. Yep. That's fine.
Okay. All right. So the action, Rich, you'll work on figuring out how to get reserve a spot there.
yes.
And then the backup plan is inside at the library. Okay.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good plan. And we were reflecting on it, and we don't think that the materials that we need at the June 5th farmers market are that intense, really, that it's more about just trying to spread the word that this is out there and available. We would have flyers that direct people to the webpage and the comment form, and then we could have some visuals on the table, which are more executive summary in nature, that get people in, maybe hopefully excited about taking a look at the plan, which might be the mapped vision statement and some of the action plans, or some of the higher level vision statement type pages from the plan.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And that way we don't, whoever's at the farmer's market, I feel like we would have a much higher probability of having them be aware of the plan, rather than trying to get them to walk over to us and then maybe feeling a little disappointed that they came over to us.
No, I think that's a fantastic idea. Okay.
Great. So the other things that are on our radar, we have made updates to the project webpage to get it current in terms of the events that have passed and the current events and all the various presentations and recordings. So that's all updated. We plan to do a final update, well, not final, but another update to the master plan website between now and next Wednesday for town meeting, which would place the draft plan links and the survey links directly at the top of the website page, so that anyone that goes there, the draft plan is very prominent, easy to see where you download it, where you take a look. And so that change will be made end of this week, beginning of next. We also plan to send an email blast out to the project contact list, which we've collected the emails throughout this process. We have several hundred emails which are on that list now. So we'll send a blast out, which simply references the same materials you saw on that flyer, which is that the plan is available for review. Here's how you connect to it. Here's what you can do to review it, and the deadline for review. And then we'll also see what we can do about just getting that same information sent out through the variety of channels that we've been using throughout this process, and work with Gloria on our team to help coordinate that as well. And then, of course, just invite you all as committee members to do the same. And if you have a certain list or network, or, you know, friends, neighbors, etc., just try to socialize this a little bit. That this has been really built on a, I think, extensive community process, and is a really, I think, strong reflection of what we've heard in each of those conversations. So hopefully people will be excited to see it if they've been involved in the process previously. So let's see the next item. Are there any questions about any of that stuff?
Nope.
All right. And then the next item we just wanted to touch on was the final steering committee, we have on our calendars June 25th, but I recall in our last meeting in March, I think we last met in March, there was a little bit of a question mark on that date. So we just wanted to circle back to it and see if that is indeed a good date or if we should make an adjustment on that.
That still works for me. Does it work for the rest of the committee?
Yeah, I don't have anything as of now in my calendar on that evening.
And that's not necessarily adoption day for the planning board, right? Just the steering committee meeting.
Yeah, I think it will depend a little bit on it probably is not an adoption day. I think there's maybe a slim chance, like if the only comments we receive is how great this plan is, then we could maybe shift towards thinking about adoption. But I think it's more likely that we will be having a conversation reflecting on the type of feedback that we received in the final comment period, and then talking about what type of adjustments to make to this plan, which depending on the type of feedback can sometimes require discussion because we want to weigh what we receive at the very end of the plan with the entirety of the process which we've gone through. So that may require some decisions from that would be helpful to have you all weigh in on. So the content of that, I guess, in summary, the content of that meeting will depend somewhat on the comment period.
Okay, that makes sense.
That date works for me, so good there.
Same.
Do you think if, again, depending on where it all lies at that moment, it might be good if we are in a good place with comments and the overall feeling about the plan at that point, it might be productive to end that meeting with at least I'm not sure if it has to be a formal vote or if it can be, I'm not sure, like a less official vote of, or, confidence or support from the steering committee, which of course includes all of the planning board. So it's a little funny, but I do think it's however you all want to work it out, but they're just recognizing that there are master plan steering committee members who are not planning board members. And do they need a moment to like weigh their own support for the plan before then the planning board makes a more formal vote themselves?
Yeah.
And the only other thing we have is just a reminder that all of this is now on the freshly updated website for the master plan, which you all can take a visit, and it's organized now, up to date, and we will get those plan documents together. So I guess circling back on, let me just circle back on the draft document for a moment, which I don't think we have like any visuals for in this slideshow, but we should, Andrew, I'm just thinking too, that we should send to the committee, we have not sent you the terminal chapter, which is the action plan chapter, which is now drafted. So we will send that to you. And then we'll send that to you now. And then the other thing that we'll send to you, maybe between now and town meeting, so it's the short timeline, but we'll send you the version which will be uploaded to the website, just so you have that yourself without having to go download it too. But that version, what we plan to do, I guess this is a reasonable point for discussion too. We plan to upload it as a single compiled file that is the full draft with all the chapters in one document that's a PDF, as opposed to breaking it up chapter by chapter and having people sort of download the chapter or piece that they're interested in. I just feel like they both have pros and cons. The con to the latter of dividing it up is that if someone's really interested in looking at the whole thing, they would have to then download like 10 documents and then look at 10 different documents. Or I guess we could do both of those approaches. Do you all have an opinion about which of those might be better? Joe? Again.
Yeah, just from a reference point of view, anything that requires more action on the user's part, bad idea. Second thing is, if you want to have a single frame of reference for people saying, I don't like something on page 19 or in chapter 8 on page 3. A single document, again, is the right way to go because everybody has a single point of reference.
Yeah, I do agree with that too. Actually, I don't know how others feel, but
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, makes sense to me.
All right, I think that's a simple approach, a good answer. So we will upload then a single compiled document that has all the pieces that you all have received it in pieces. So you actually don't have the benefit yet of having this single compiled document. So it will be a compiled document which takes all the pieces that you have had gotten separately into a single chronological file with all the chapters in the right order. And that will be what we upload to the website. That will be what we link to and send the email out about. And that will be what we send to you all as committee members directly.
How big of a file do you think that's going to be?
In terms of megabytes or it's about 200 pages. We will endeavor to shrink the file in terms of its file size so that it's well within, I would say, our goal will probably be to get it to around 10 megabytes. So there's not any concerns about it being
right. It'll be a compressed PDF. So, okay.
There's always a little bit of balance between compressing PDFs and like some image quality might fall off. So we'll play with that a little bit, but
right.
Balance the size and quality.
Okay.
And that'll be on the site by town meeting then for next week?
Yes, that will be uploaded for town meeting because we're at town meeting. The idea is to promote that the plan is available on the website. So we want it to be there and that the comment period is officially open. So all of that requires that this compiled document will be there on the website on the before the 15th so that you all can see it and know it's there.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Great. So the next steps we've mostly already talked about, but they are short for this process at least. And we have effectively, if you just look on the timeline, we're at town meeting opening the final comment period and sort of final engagement of this plan document from the community's perspective. We will be making real on the ground that comment period at the farmers market on June 6th, which will be our sort of final in-person engagement to promote the fact that the plan is wrapping up. And then we will have a master plan steering committee meeting towards the end of June, which will reflect on any of the comments that we've heard and then talk about how we're going to close out this process together. And that's what we have for this evening.
Fantastic. So you'll get us that PDF for handouts. We talked about the schedule. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, the things we have, which we'll send you sooner than later, maybe even try to do it tomorrow. Chad, we'll get back to you a bulleted list for town meeting about some other verbal remarks you can make in regard to the planning process and where we're at. We'll also send the action or the implementation chapter, the action plans that you haven't received yet as a group, and the flyer PDF for town meeting. That will be one email that we'll just send to everyone so everyone's got that stuff. And then we'll follow up between tomorrow and say Tuesday-ish of next week with the compiled document that will be uploaded to the website.
Okay.
Very good.
And then we will, as a committee, continue to review the documents and provide feedback.
Right. And the new deadline for that is June 20th.
Right. But we can send it in before that.
You are welcome to send them at any time when you feel that you're comfortable with your comments.
Okay.
But I would say it's helpful it will actually be helpful because there's not dramatic changes between what you have already received and what we will be compiling into this document that we share with you all in the public. But if you haven't started reviewing that in earnest, it's probably better to start with the compiled version that we will be sending, over the next few days. Just because that is the most current version. So you wouldn't be commenting on something that we might have already caught, like there's a typo on page 8 and we already found it. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, but might as well just wait for the full version now because it's the latest and greatest. Yeah. Okay.
Plus, the action plan will be in this, right?
yes, plus the action plan will be there, and you'll get that tomorrow as well, but you'll see it in the full
Okay.
compiled version. Yeah.
I wonder, just to save in a lot of files, we could, since it's only a few days away, we could include the action plans with the final PDF document. That way you can see the preamble text with the action plans so that you don't have like another document in your list of documents.
That would be, yeah, like that.
It's exciting. I mean, we are almost to the end. We're like, what, 6? Well, we'll say 8 weeks away. I don't want to rush it, but yeah, we're almost there.
I just heard action plan and I perked up.
I mean, that's the end result, right? I mean, to get that to the action plan. No.
That part is very exciting.
Yes, it's been a great process. We've appreciated collaborating with all of you on it, and yeah, it's great to get to this point together.
It is. It's very exciting. We're almost there. We're in the home stretch. It's great. All right. Josh, do you have anything else? That it for you and your team?
I think that's it. Andrea, anything else we didn't hit on?
I think the only other thing is, because we've done paper like comment forms for every other kind of engagement period, we will be sending that to you, Rich, so that you can have those at town hall for folks who do want to write comments in.
Okay.
So we'll have that option for folks. But I think we covered everything else.
Okay.
All right, great.
Well, I think that was, and do we have any other comments from anyone else, from the board, from the committee, the whole committee as a whole? Okay. Rich, I think that was the only item really on tonight's agenda, was really just this.
Yeah, that was it for tonight. Yes.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, seeing that there's no other discussion items, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, wait, Joe, you got a question or? Oh, okay. He just wanted to. All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.